What's up, guys? It's SpaceMan Zack. I'm going to be doing a Q&A session today. I recently asked people on Instagram to send me questions that they've always wanted me to answer. So here I am doing that. Let's get it. By the way, before we start, people always ask me what the best way to support me is, and we have YouTube memberships available on my channel. You'll get some cool stuff if you hit join on my YouTube, so go do that. When are we getting more of the making of like Zero? Good question. Me and Aubrey have actually been talking about doing those again, so it kind of just depends on when our schedules line up. But we want to do it because I'm in the studio all the time and making new stuff. So we were actually, I think, possibly going to do it like next week from when this is recorded. So there will be new stuff on my channel doing the making of videos, and yeah, I want to let y'all see, especially because now I mix and engineer myself, so I think it'll be even more interesting than when we did the Zero video. So it'll be lit. What are the top items on your bucket list? I have not really thought about that a lot, actually. But I do know that like the basic ones is like I want to go skydiving and I want to swim with sharks really bad, even though I'm afraid of the ocean like really bad. But skydiving, swimming with sharks. I've always wanted to perform at the VMAs. I don't really care about performing at the Grammys. For some reason that seems like fraudulent to me, but like the VMAs seem cool. And I don't know, when I was a kid I used to want to get slimed out at the Nickelodeon Teen Choice Awards, but I don't know, I might be too old for that now. So I kind of just want to perform the VMAs. And then a big bucket list for me, it sounds kind of corny, but I've always wanted to have like my family backstage at like a really big show. Like maybe not a stadium, but like 10,000 people are there and have my family watch it from backstage. That seems like really cool to me. It gives me like goosebumps. So yes. What's the realest song you have ever made? I think that there's probably two that come to mind, and one of them is Saturday Night. That song and that video actually are very real to me. I wrote that song like right before I went to rehab, and it was kind of me like declaring to myself that I was done with the things that I was doing, and then was like lucky enough that when we went to shoot the video, when it came out, or before it came out, but like after rehab, I was able to like write the script for it and model it after like actual AA meetings that I went to in rehab. So it was just a very real moment for me to like see that come full circle. Another really real song that I think is one of my favorites is Need Forever, and it's on the same album. It's on the Life of the Party album, and I wrote it for my wife, and it's like a really soft acoustic song, and the whole song is just about pretty much me thanking her for being the person for me that I needed when I was struggling and making that choice to change my life. There's parts in the second verse where I just say like, we'll fall down but we can get back up, but I didn't know that you heal parts of me that I didn't know I needed healing, and like things like that. So that song is really real for me, and I go back to it every once in a while and really love that song. So yeah, it's a great album, by the way. Go listen to Life of the Party. Do you think emo rap will ever make a global comeback? This is a tough question. I don't know if emo rap will ever, or like what we consider emo rap will ever be considered, like I don't know if it'll ever be as big as it was like the forefront again, because there was a moment where it was like a huge forefront of underground music. I don't know if it'll be there. I think that things are cyclical, so things do come back, but that's a tough answer, because like as much as I would love it to, it's like my favorite thing ever, but I don't think that it necessarily will, but I do think that there will always be a pocket for it, and I think that it'll grow, like that pocket will grow again. I ventured away from it for a while and I came back to it, and like my numbers are doing better than they were when I wasn't doing it. So like I do think that there is a market for it, but I just don't know if it'll ever be that like big big thing that it was before. But if you like making emo rap, do it. Don't worry about it being global. Just do it for you. Who is your favorite artist you've ever worked with? This is a cop-out, but I don't have a favorite artist I've ever worked with, because I think that pretty much every artist I've ever worked with has been amazing in their own right. I think that I have good things to say about everybody, and you know, I've just enjoyed working with so many different people that I've gotten to work with throughout my career. I will say that I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be Elijah, R.I.P. Aside from just being like a musical contemporary, he was one of my best friends, and we did some really special things when we were making the projects that we made together. And I still look back on those memories a lot, and he was just like a big brother to me. So it was yeah, he was probably my favorite if I had to pick one. Did you invest some of your money in real estate or something else, and is streaming a reliable source of income? No, I'm dumb, and I didn't invest my money in anything else. When my music started popping off and I started getting like good money from my music, I was like 21 and was spending my money on stupid things, like flashy things like clothes and alcohol and drugs. If you want to spend your money on clothes, that's cool, but like maybe don't do it on drugs and alcohol like I was doing it. But I didn't really plan for, I was just young and dumb, and I didn't really plan for any of that. But I am grateful that it has sustained me well, and I didn't blow it all. Streaming is like, music streams can be a reliable source of income, but I think that people overlook the fact that like you don't get paid a whole lot for your streaming. It's like less than a cent per stream, but a lot of the money that artists make come from like merch sales, from shows, from features, from things like that, like that are separate from just streams. So yeah, if you have a friend that's like an underground artist and you want to support them, the best way to do it is like buying their merch, going to their shows. If you know people who need features, tell them to cop features, that kind of thing. So I think that's where like the majority of big money comes from. So yeah. Did you think about ending your music career when your child was born, or did it make you even more dedicated? And how did you manage being a father and an artist in 2025? No, it did not ever occur to me when my son was born that I should end my music career. I have had moments in the past where I've like had that thought come across my brain, you know, and in different moments. But when he was born, it really just dedicated me to go harder than I had gone before. Because now I was like, it renewed that sense of like, you have to make it. You have to do these big things. You have to make him proud. You have to support. You have to do all these things. So I think it made me more dedicated to making music and making good music and making true to myself music so that I would be proud to show him. And juggling being a father and an artist, it was difficult. It's gotten a lot better now that I'm like settled into the role of a dad, but it was hard at first, you know. Babies are a lot of work, and babies take up a lot of your time, and you don't get much sleep, and you know, I had to find a balance of like recording and being a dad, and like also relying on my wife to, you know, help me cope. Like I think we are very good at parenting together and knowing when each other needs to get work done and knowing when each other needs, you know, time with the baby and like whatever. But I am more than thankful for my son being here with me, and he has only made me work harder, and I think that it shows in the recent work that I've been doing. So yeah. Is there one specific song that you've made that represents the darkest time of your life? I think I could go back to Saturday Night again, but I think that y'all all know the story about that one. Other than that, I think the song I'm Wrong with Elijah really represents, I was going through a lot of things in that time, and I won't get into like crazy details about them, but I do remember when we recorded that song, and we were at Elijah's apartment, and we were in his room, and he showed me, he had the chorus laid down, the I know I'm wrong, and it was time for me to like do the verse, and not to sound corny, because I've heard people say this all the time, but like I was like feeling bad that day, and I started like crying while I was recording it. And so if you listen to the song, actually, because the take that made the song was the one where I was crying, and my voice cracks a bunch and like it kind of goes everywhere, and so we had to like kind of auto tune it really hard. um and I remember being like, listen dude, I don't know if maybe we should do that one again. And he was just like, no, that was perfect. And so it made it, and I'm glad that it did, because I think that that song really hits. Even to this day, it gives me goosebumps because it makes me remember like where I was when I made that song, and I was really struggling with my mental health, really, 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 really bad. Uh, but I'm thankful for my friends and family who were there for me in those times. So yeah. What was a turning point in your life when you decided to get sober and just really focus on you, your music, and your family? A big turning point for me, it's so funny because I think that I knew that I needed to make a change for like a really long time, and I wouldn't admit it to myself. Uh, I know Aubrey, he told me for like 2 years before I got sober that I needed to get sober, and he was one person that was like very on me all the time, and he was like, listen dude, this is going to a bad place and you gotta do something. And he was a big driving force. And then my wife was a really big driving force towards getting closer to when I actually did make the change. But it wasn't really like a big moment where like I feel like in like movies and stuff they show like there's like this one big moment that changed everything. It really wasn't. I remember how it happened actually very vividly. I got really drunk one night, and I woke up the next morning and felt really, really hungover, and I went and I was like vomiting in the toilet, and I was just sitting there and I was like, dude, I feel like shit all the time, and I'm just kind of tired of not feeling good anymore, like physically not feeling good. Like I felt sick all the time. And I remember that day I called my mom because she had some connects at a rehab facility, and I was like, listen, I need you to call who you need to call and get me into rehab before I change my mind. And that was on like a Friday, and I was checked into rehab that Monday. So it was very quickly after, and I'm very glad I did it. But yeah, it wasn't like a big like movie moment. I was just like, listen, I don't fucking like this anymore. I wasn't having fun. So yeah. What happened in your deepest state of life, and what did you do to get out of this state? I've been through a lot of different stages when it comes to like, you know, I've always really struggled with like mental health, and you know, being diagnosed with a bunch of different, I have like a rap sheet of different things, but and then I've, you know, struggled with addiction and all different types of addiction. And I don't think there is like really, I don't think there was really ever like a deepest part of my life. I know that I have struggled with trigger warning, like wanting to not be here anymore, and you know, even making like slight attempts at that. But there was just a, you know, there was a lot of my life where I was not happy with who I was, with the things going on around me. Even when success was happening, I just didn't feel good, and I felt like everything was kind of against me. And you know, I don't think that there's really like a clear-cut solution to any of that, other than, you know, recognizing that sometimes you just need help. And you know, as much as I was against it for a long time, you know, seeing a therapist helped me a lot, leaning on my family helped me a lot, my wife helped me a lot. You know, when my son was born, that helped me a lot, and I'm feeling good now. But I do still struggle with, you know, just because I'm sober and stuff doesn't mean I have a perfect clear-cut life. Like I have anxiety attacks regularly. I have, you know, bouts of depression and things like that make it hard to do things, but it's much more manageable now. So I'm pretty happy about that and grateful for that. So yeah. How old were you when you started seeing success in music, and how old were you when you started? I started making music when I was like 11, but I don't think I started making music like seriously until I was like 15 or 16. I was just kind of like rapping. But what I linked up with Aubrey and met Aubrey for the first time when I was like 18, I think. And we worked together for a while, and you know, there was a long time where nobody wanted to listen to this guy. I think that our first like real strike of success was Cover Girl, and I think that was in 2017. 2017. So I would have been like 18 or 19, probably 19, maybe 20. I don't know. I don't know. And we got placed on the Sad Chill channel. Shout out to Sad Chill. And that was like my first like hit of success. And I remember when the video dropped and like it doing like 2,000 views in like 2 hours, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then I think like after that, you know, we had Coke in the Bathroom getting placed on Trash. Shout out to Trash. And that was like a huge hitter for us. I don't even know how old I was when that happened, but I don't know when that came out either.
2019.
Was that 2019?
Yeah.
Was that the same year?
As Cover Girl?
Oh no, that was 2017 then 2019.
Yes.
Listen, we was doing things. But yeah, no, I mean, I was young. I was like under 20 when all that stuff happened, so yeah. What did the people around you think about your music when you started? I think I have that same cliche story that everyone does, where like, you know, I think it's pretty hard for people around you to like take it super seriously until you give them a reason to. People used to make fun of me in high school. I was like that kid. I was like the wannabe rapper of the school. You know, I think that my family grew supportive of it even before like success started coming, but I don't know if anyone really took it seriously. I think that my mom really liked my music. I don't think she liked the things I talked about in my music, because she would tell me all the time. She was like, you need to be more positive and you need to do all this stuff. And I was like, no, you don't get it. But she was supportive of just like me making music. And I think that they really liked it when I started singing more. Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's very cliche, like, as an underground artist, that, like, I don't think that people really fuck with you until... And you gotta know that, like, not all your friends are gonna fuck with your music. Even to this day, I still have friends that don't fuck with my music like that, and that's cool. But, you know, there's always gonna be someone who is gonna fuck with your music, so that's real. When do you think you'll be going on tour? We don't have any definite plans for like a specific tour right now. I have a show in Washington D.C. that I'm performing at on December 21st, and then I'm gonna be in Portland, Oregon on January 2nd, and then we have some other shows we're working out next year in all these other different states. Everything is just me and Aubrey, guys, so it's not like a big production behind any of this, so everything is very, to be transparent with you, everything is out of our own pockets, so it's pretty expensive to go on tour. So we've been working on it, and it's also a lot to set up a tour, but we've been talking about doing a small tour in 2026 and hitting some of my major streaming cities, and then seeing how that goes, and then possibly doing something larger after that. But I want to get on tour. I want to be on the road. I want to come see everybody. There's not a city in this world that I don't want to hit on tour, and I'm gonna get there. I promise. It's just, it is hard to set up a tour, so, but we'll get there. I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to everyone who sent in questions. If you guys have more questions, send them to me, and if we get enough, maybe I'll do another one of these Q&As if you guys want. As always, go listen to the new stuff. I have hella new music dropping, new music videos coming out all the time, some performance videos coming out, and yeah, hopefully I will see you in your city on tour soon. I love you guys so much.